Welcome to Maintenance Matters, a podcast by Marshall Institute, capturing conversations with industrial maintenance and reliability professionals about their successes, challenges, and stories. Enjoy the episode.
All right, my name is Greg Folts, and I'm CEO and president of Marshall Institute, and we're really interested in taking some time to chat with maintenance and reliability leaders from various types of facilities and environments, and trying to see how COVID-19 environment is impacting our clients around the world. So today I have Marc Mitchell. Marc and I have worked together for the past few years, and I'm going to go ahead and let Marc introduce himself, but I'm really excited about a chance to just chat and see how things are affecting. So Marc, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, Greg. Hope all is well. Yeah, we've worked a little bit over the past few years between my organization and Marshall. I have a long history with Marshall Institute for probably the last 15 to 20 years at some of my past organizations. So it's been a good working relationship. My background primarily is HVAC and operations. I currently work at one of the larger higher education institutions in the Triangle area in North Carolina. And my background is, as I mentioned, is HVAC, and my experience has primarily been pharmaceuticals till about 5 years ago. And reliability and maintainability have been like at the forefront of what we try and do here. We try and keep everything neat and tidy and operational.
Awesome. So what we'd like to explore a little bit today is how the current crisis pandemic has affected your facility. And one of the things that we're really interested in getting out, people to understand is, hey, I think we see different impacts from different kinds of organizations as we look across our client base. So we're trying to get that information out for other people to learn from and maybe benefit from some of the experiences that people have. And so just kind of talk around what your typical day was like before COVID-19 and maybe what it's like now and how it's changed a bit, and just how it has impacted your organization in general. What kinds of insight can you share with us?
Sure. So prior to mid-March, typical day here has been, we run a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week operation. And, we have our PM crews here on second and third shift, and we have our crew here during the day handling customer issues, any kind of hot and cold complaints, any kind of corrective stuff that require personnel to be here. We have a fairly large scale campus, and we support all kinds of research, animal spaces, educational spaces, et cetera, et cetera. So it was pretty typical run-of-the-mill operations before mid-March. Since the isolation started and the social distancing, we're, as an organization, we're following some CDC guidelines, keeping as few people on campus as possible. Everybody's got masks now. Anybody you see walking around is wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. Students are gone, faculty's gone. So a lot of our customer base has kind of disappeared for the time being from a facilities perspective. The buildings and the offices are no longer in use. Mm-hmm. So we've had to adapt a little bit. We're not getting as many calls, and we certainly have less staff on site trying to adhere to some guidelines and keep people safe. So we're only hitting, we're taking care of the problems that are higher priority. We categorize them as emergencies or urgents. And if we can get to anything else after that, we're kind of hitting that.
Got it. Are there assets that you can't shut down in the facility? I assume there's some key things that you've got to keep percolating, even though there's not a lot of people around.
Yes. So all of our, and I'll speak specifically to HVAC systems and ventilation.
Okay. Yeah.
All of our laboratories, we have quite a few laboratory buildings, and there are scientists and professors and students working on some of the COVID-19 response.
Interesting. Yeah.
So we have to keep all of that equipment running. Fume hood, stuff like that. As I earlier mentioned, we have a host of animals on research animals on campus. So anything from dogs to, behavioral studies and lemurs and things like that. We have to keep their environments pristine as well. So air changes are important, temperature and humidity is important, and all of that is reportable. So we task our efforts to make sure that that stuff is taken care of.
Has the current crisis had an impact on I guess, the organization's view of maintenance and reliability and how you're addressing maintenance and reliability in the short term?
In the short term, yes. We're dropping back, and we're I'm gone from having 15 people here to having 4 a day, and we're just unable to do some of that preventive maintenance work. Some of the more reliability focused tasks are sitting in limbo right now.
Mm-hmm. I assume it's affected the contractors that are servicing the campus as well?
Yes, we've cut out, in my shop alone, I think we've cut out about 90 to 95% of contractor work on campus.
Got it, yeah. And what do you think about the long-term effects? I mean, how do you think this is going to affect things as we roll down the road? Thoughts on that?
I'd like to, my optimistic side, we'll say that we'll find some opportunities to, maybe make our maintenance plans a little more robust to be able to withstand some of these things. This is certainly not the first time the world has gone through a pandemic like this, and I don't expect it to be the last. So hopefully some more robustness around our practices, just so we have a better feeling if we have to draw back our efforts at some point. I'm hoping that'll come out of it.
Do you have technicians and crafts that are still employed but not on the front lines? I mean, are some of them sitting on the sidelines and doing other things, maybe reviewing PMs or things like that?
So our technicians are home right now, with the exception of the rotation that comes in during the day. I believe it's the 2 guys during the day, 2 guys on the second shift. We rotate them. So the other staff is at home. We've gone through some training events with them as far as some remote learning, some alarm management stuff, but nothing as far as maintenance goes to refine anything.
Yeah, and that's what we've been seeing a lot of our clients, beginning to do is, they've got people that are still on payroll but at home, and so they've been transitioning towards some remote coaching and consulting. So it's interesting. And it seems to be the case that there are clients that are full on, like if they're in food production, some construction materials, medical supplies. I mean, they're just running wide open, and of course they're on the other end of the spectrum. They can't stop to breathe. And then we've got some clients that seem, they've had to make cuts and reductions. And then we've got clients that are sitting in the middle where they've got people that are still on the payroll, and there's, they're trying to figure out how to effectively use those folks. So if you could go back 3 months or, and give yourself some advice about what you know now, about what you're about, you've headed into, what would you say? What would you say to yourself, to the previous Marc Mitchell?
I keep my training plans up. Keep technology on the forefront of everything. We're trying to do everything through Zoom, Google, you name it, every kind of remote application you can think of, we're trying to employ right now, just to get some building automation tools done and get some training done. So we would have liked to have had that stuff a little sharper. Yeah.
No, this was a hard one to see coming. That's for sure. I mean, we do strategic planning every quarter, and, we've got our typical things that are on the map, and something this hard. And the part that was really hard to anticipate was the impact that it had on the economy, right? I mean, the way that it's just, brought everything to a standstill. So any other insights or tips you'd want to share with, maybe other people that are in a facilities organization? We're actually working with another facilities organization that takes care of grade schools, elementary schools across the country. And any tips or anything else you'd want to share with some of those folks that might tune in?
From my perspective, I don't know that I have any tips, but some of the things that I've seen that might have prepared us. One thing I see, us as an organization going through is now with no students and no faculty here, we start to learn and see how athletics uses facilities and how summer camps use facilities and how all of these revenue streams are no longer available. And, from a business planning perspective, I would love to see how upper management handles that in the future to kind of end some of that or protect against some of the loss.
Yeah, the Zoom, Teams, WebEx sorts of tools have become just such a major part. There's been this amazingly quick transition over to using a lot of those tools in a way that, so yeah, it'll be interesting what the future holds. Marc, I really appreciate you spending a little bit of time just to share your insights, and I wish you the best with your team, and definitely jump on a phone. We'll be happy to share some things with you as we go down the road here, and just keep working with you guys. And thanks a lot for taking some time to spend with us, and best of luck, and keep safe in everything that you're doing.
Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you for the invite, and be safe.
All right, you take care.
You too.